The title of my talk today, surprisingly, is Never Alone. And in this month of enthusiasm, when I was looking at what I wanted to talk about, it's always interesting when my birthday lands on a Sunday, because I always know where I'm going to be on that Sunday. So, I was thinking, what do I want to say in this month of enthusiasm? What do I want to talk about? What do we all want to talk about? And then I thought, I really do want to hear this song. The last time that song was sung at church, Will sang it with his sister in 2018, just a few months before she left us. So, I was like, I'm ready to hear it again, a new version of it, and I called Will and I said, would you be okay to sing this? And so that everybody can learn it, I'm going to send you all the clip of when we did it in 2018. So and Will was like, thank you for warning me, so I didn't just turn it on and see it. And he said, but no, I'm good. I'm good to watch it. And I watched it, and I of course watched it to remind myself, how do I break it down? Because it's a very different song in the show. And, as I'm looking at it and I'm listening to the song and I'm listening to the lyrics, of You Will Be Found, it brought me to this idea that enthusiasm being so intricate and so very much a part of who you are, the only time it douses, the only time you are not enthusiastic about your life, about things in life, is when you've taken your focus and put it somewhere else. And I know that I can be sad, and I know that grief can grab me at any moment unexpectedly. And my job in that moment is to allow it and say, all right, yeah, of course I have grief. I loved that deeply. I'm going to have grief that deeply. That goes with the territory. And anyone who tries to get rid of the grief, I ask you then to say, I say to you, do you want to get rid of the love? Because they correspond perfectly. I was okay feeling the grief, and then I watched it, and the entire song was so joyous to me watching it. Even when Nora came out and started, and last time we did it, Will's going to hate me sharing this, but the last time we did it, Will screwed up the lyrics just as Nora was about to make her entrance, and she's sitting in the front row, and she walked up. When she started her verse, she was like, he didn't do that this time. This time he did perfect. So I want to have you take a look at this. Give me my first quote. There is a difference between being alone and feeling alone. That goes for everything. There's a difference between being unhappy and feeling unhappy. You can never be unhappy because it's not who you are. But you can feel it. You can feel alone. You can feel sad. You can feel depressed. You can feel a failure. You can feel a lot of things. But you can only be one thing. So when I'm hearing those lyrics, you are not alone, over and over again, it's like, no, I am not alone. No matter where I am, I can't be alone because who I am in truth is you, is one thing. So I could never be alone. Can I feel alone? How many people here have ever felt alone in their life? Yeah, all of us. We've all felt alone. And a lot of people say, when you die alone. No, you don't. Only if you've lived alone. And if you've lived with that feeling that you're alone, then maybe you will die alone and you'll feel empty. But you don't have to. You can feel joyous and jubilant, and you can feel one of everything. You can feel the inspiration. You can feel the success. You can feel everything. So today I want to really look at truth and feeling. The truth of who you are is non-negotiable. In CPR, I have a quote. It says this: my success is non-negotiable. Try that. My success is non-negotiable. Try this. My happiness is non-negotiable.
My happiness is non-negotiable.
You just said the truth. You just said the truth. Now, there's a difference between truth and feeling, because you can feel unsuccessful. You can feel not so happy, but that's not the truth. That's not the truth of who you are. So truth versus feeling. And yet, in our teaching, Ernest Holmes says this. He says, the active energy in treatment is feeling. Now, it's interesting because his teacher, Thomas Troward, said it was belief. But they're kind of similar. But feeling. So truth versus feeling. The active energy in treatment is feeling because what you feel creates. So I guess the real question for you today is, how are you feeling? Because, I love that, good. Thanks for asking. How are you feeling? That's really important to know at all times. And if you say, I'm feeling sad, but I know the truth, you've just conquered that thing called sadness. So if you're willing to say, yes, I feel this, and see, this is what's important about this. This honors your feelings. It respects your feelings. You get to feel whatever you feel. Now, you're going to feel based on your beliefs anyway. But if you're willing and able to say, yes, I feel this right now, but here's the truth, then you're doing exactly what Ernest Holmes is saying. The activating energy in treatment is feeling. Because when you say, yes, I do feel this, but I'm not going to create from this. I'm going to feel this, but I'm going to know the truth. And when you turn over to the truth, that's a different feeling than this feeling. Which feeling do you want to create from? The sadness or the I know that I am joy? I know that happiness is my birthright. I know that my success is non-negotiable. In the face of any failure, my success is non-negotiable no matter what. And I feel that. So you get to move from feeling to truth. So Ernest Holmes said this: never limit your view of life by any past experience. How many of you are still conjuring up the past sometimes in your heads? You put up 2 hands. That's good. Right. Well, here's the thing about feeling. How many of you, now every hand should go up, how many of you can conjure up a feeling just by thinking of something in the past? So basically, you're just regurgitating old feelings that already did their work, but you're reprocessing them and letting them activate your life again. So does that mean we shouldn't think about the past? No. When that video showed up, when I had to go search for it and find it, I had a feeling when it first came up. But I instantly said to myself, okay, you had 19 years with this glorious, amazing woman. You had 19 years with her. Why is that not enough? And I know most of us are sitting here going, it's not enough. It should have been longer. I knew she had such great things to do in life. Did she? Or did I think she had great things to do in life? Because her life did exactly what it was here to do, and it's doing it now too. So I understand all of this, and some people say, it's one thing to understand it, it's another thing to actually feel it. Well, yeah, but when you're willing to do the understanding, feeling accompanies it, when you're willing to let it. So, the active, never limit your view of life by any past experience. Past experiences come with feeling, and so it's quite possible that the feelings you have in life are influencing the life you're living. Not the other way around. We tend to think that I feel the way I feel because you did that to me. I feel the way I feel because this happened in my life. No, this is happening in my life because of the way I feel. And it becomes a real hamster wheel, doesn't it? It's like, well, which is it, the chicken or the egg? And we can't really get back to it, which means our job is to turn to the truth. So, back to the song. You are not alone. I was looking for some quotes, and the first quote I came up with, which I loved, was from George Washington, who said this: "It is far better to be alone than to be in bad company." Are we all in agreement with this? Yeah, right? But, as fabulous as that quote is, Jean-Paul Sartre said this: "If you are lonely when you are alone, you are in bad company." So think about that. You are the person that gets to decide what mood you're going to be in. Do you know that? Do you know that you can wake up and say, today's going to be an amazing day? and always add a little pepper of no matter what. No matter what happens, today is going to be a great day. And when you actually do that, things show up, perhaps, that you're not expecting, and you're like, no, I'm having a good day. That's impossible. Moving on. That's kind of how it works. Because if you take charge, now this thing about being lonely, I had a counseling session this week with someone who is very lonely, and doesn't know how to get out of that feeling, that emotional feeling of being lonely. And I said, well, and she said to me, she said, and it's not even that I'm alone, because I have a husband. And I said, that's a whole different counseling session. I said, okay, so you have a husband, but you're still lonely. I said, I get it. I said, so how are you going to, this was funny. I said, how are you going to change this reality? She said, there was this beat, and she went, it's why I called you. And I said, yeah, but I can't change that reality for you. I said, you can. I said, but here's the thing. And I talked to her about our theme. I said, our theme this month is enthusiasm. And she was like, yeah, I don't have any of that. I said, you do. You are enthusiastic about everything. She's like, no, I'm not. I said, because you're saying you're not. I said, but your natural state, and this is the whole thing. Here's the truth, and here's what you're feeling. Your natural state is enthusiastic. Your natural state is happy. Your natural state is successful. Your natural state is joy. Your natural state is health. Your natural state is vibrancy. Has nothing to do with what you're feeling, unless it has everything to do with what you're feeling. And that means you need to spend more time knowing the truth. The truth, not the feelings. And then the truth comes with their very own feelings, which is what then guides you throughout your life. So I put a blog out. How many of you got to read my blog this week? Not many. Okay, so it comes to you, just in case you know. It's in your email. But I wrote this blog about when I turned 39. How many people here have turned 39 so far? No. I knew you weren't 39. Yes. Okay. We do have people. Who is not 39 yet? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 39ers. Wow. Good for you. Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret about turning 39. I had a nervous breakdown. Not a real one, but a fake gay one. Where you're just a big drama queen. And I woke up on my 39th birthday, and I was like, oh, and Kevin didn't say happy birthday to me. I was like, unbelievable. This is like grounds for divorce. And so I tested him. I was like, I'm not telling him it's my birthday. If he doesn't remember, So, and we're going to the gym. And so he's like, you getting ready for the gym? I was like, I am. Nothing, walks away, getting his bag. Then my friend Wendy comes down, because she lives down the street. And Wendy walks in. And she's like, hey, we're going to the gym? No, happy birthday. I was like, unbelievable. So I don't ask them. I'm like, you know what? You're going to forget it. Then at the end of the day, you'll really feel bad. So we go to the gym, and we're working out. Now, we're working out at the gym, and still I even give hints, like little hints about like a special day. And they're like, cool. And working out, I got so mad. Now, it's about a half-hour walk home from the gym, but we always drive. We all drove together. And I looked at both of them, and I was like, you know what? Today is my birthday. You both forgot I'm walking home, because that resolves it. And Kevin's just like looking at me incredulously, and they still didn't say happy birthday. They were just like, so I walked home. I was furious. Now I'm just really angry, because basically it's my last year of being young. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to turn 40. I'm 40. That's like horrifying. 40. As an actor, I wasn't a minister at this time. Was I? No, I wasn't. So I was like, oh my God. So I walk home, and you know how when you're angry, you're feeling, I at that time didn't think, what's the truth of this? No, I was like just feeling angrier and angrier. Every step towards Irish Circle got me angrier and angrier. By the time I got home, I was like on fire. But by the time I got home, they were already home. because it only takes 2 minutes to drive home. And I walked in, and Wendy was like, of course we knew it was your birthday. I was like, well, but you didn't say it was my birthday. Now I'm crying because I'm really dramatic. And Kevin's like, James, we didn't bring it up because we didn't want to, make you realize we have a huge surprise party for you tonight. At which point I go, I can't believe you told me. Now I'm even angrier that they told me. So that was me turning 39. And talk about the law of cause and effect. I was so mean to them. Wendy was so upset at how mean I was. It was her job to make the cake, and she forgot to put the eggs in because she was upset, and it turned into a tortilla. So my 39th birthday cake was like this thick, and she kept it. She said, you know what, I just thought he deserves this. So now, for some reason, that's how 39 affected me. And Kevin asked me the other day, he goes, so how's 68 feeling? I was like, you know what? I'm really cool. I said, 69 we'll have to look at. I said, but I'm really okay. I'm feeling very differently because I was a different person then. I let feelings drive me. Feelings drove my life. And I was just starting out with Dr. Walker. I was just going to the Los Angeles Church of Religious Science and hearing all of this, but you know how it is. You hear it for a while, but when does it sink in? When is it going to sink in, folks? Right? When does it sink in that it's no longer something I'm hearing, it's actually something I'm living? I am embodying this teaching. Well, I'm happy to say that now, at 68, I feel like I embody it more and more and more. Then I knew how I felt. Today, I know who I am. And that's the difference between feeling and truth. So I'm here to tell you, as your life feels you out and brings feelings to you, just remember, this isn't who I am. I am that which created those feelings. And that's very powerful. Maxwell Maltz said this. Oh, I forgot to say that. So that was the name of my blog, by the way. Enthusiasm is ageless. Okay, go ahead. Love her picture. So Maxwell Maltz says this. If you make friends with yourself, you will never be alone. But you know what that means to me? Not like making friends with yourself, but it means if you know who you are, you'll never be alone, no matter where you are. Today, I'm still very sad that I lost my daughter, but I'm not sad to the point where it drives my life at all. My word in boot camp is drive, and that does not drive my life. No, but what does drive my life about Nora is that she was such an inspiration in my life and continues to be. So I can't be alone or lonely because I miss her, because she's every part of me, and I am every part of her. And that goes for everyone we have lost on this plane. We do not lost. You will be found the minute you find yourself. And when you find yourself, you find everybody else. Everybody else. And I love this quote. I brought this quote up just because I just thought it was hysterical and I'd never seen it before, by Greta Garbo. I never said I want to be alone. I said I want to be left alone. There is a difference. I love that. Because everybody thinks she was like, I want to be alone. No, I want to be left alone. It makes perfect sense. You get to do that. You get to decide who travels this journey with you. Chosen family. Some of you are probably sitting here that don't feel maybe that their family were the nicest people on the planet. I won't ask for a show of hands, but you created a family as you went along, didn't you? There's a thing here they call the row. They're a family. Oh, yes, Gilmore was in the row, but now he works for us. All right, so you happen to be in the row, yes. So, but that's a family. You know, I have my family, my birth family, and I have my family of friends. So you get to decide. I love this. If you want to be left alone, you get to be left alone. If you want to go it alone, you get to go it alone. You get to design your life, no matter what. The minute you know who you are, you get to design your life. It's that simple. So, enthusiasm, You can have it every single moment you decide to have it. You decide to remember who you are. Because if you bought this understanding today and really owned it, if you really owned the idea that you are enthusiasm, it doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what's happening. You are enthusiasm. And if you absolutely knew that, you could tap into it at any moment. Any moment, no matter what. The feelings aren't the power. The truth is the power. And so, my final thought on this today, give me my next quote here, Gilmore, thank you. So this is from Maya Angelou, and she said, "We allow our ignorance to prevail upon us and make us think we can survive alone, alone in patches, alone in groups, alone in races, even alone in gardens, when in reality, we are one." And I love when she says we allow our ignorance. And although that's kind of a not fun word and not a nice word, I don't think, ignorant, but we are in certain moments. Anytime we allow separation to rule us. Look at our country right now. We are living in a divided country. You know, there are people who don't come here because I'm a Democrat and they don't think I'm fair. And yet, I am one of the most forthright, respectful people when it comes to respecting every single person's right to believe what they want to believe. My only job is to stand up here and say, do it with love. Love only. We have ignorantly thought that we are separate from someone else because they're a different color, they're a different race, they're a different sex, they're a different sexual preference, you know? And we create all of that division. And then enthusiasm's out the window because now we're just walking around in not a good mood. So when you look at this, make us think we can survive alone, as if this country could survive with just Democrats. That would be a disaster. To be perfectly honest, it would be, because they got their problems too. Or that we could just survive with Republicans. But we have come into a country and a time when people really believe this needs to happen or this needs to happen, and they're like separate. This is the second family that's come to me just this week saying they're moving to Portugal. They're leaving. They're like, we can't live in this country anymore. And I'm like, I have to respect it. The first very close friends of ours left with their whole family. Now this next family's going. And it breaks my heart because what it's saying is we're giving up as opposed to really getting this message out there. A feeling that this is the country we live in is not the truth. The truth is we live in a country filled with people with many different opinions and feelings, ideologies, religions, philosophies. But when you throw all those things away, because they're just choices, what do you get to? One people living on one planet. And that's what she's saying here. When all that happens, at the end of the day, the truth is we are one. And more importantly, the truth is we are not alone. Whether you are sitting here in this sanctuary or sitting in a synagogue somewhere or sitting in a Buddhist temple, or if you're just out taking a hike because that's your spiritual connection, we are one thing going on. And that's why I asked that song to be sang today, because I knew how important it is for us to understand that we are one people living on one planet. You know, on your birthday, you tend to start looking at your life and looking back. And what I realize is that I have had such a blessed life. I really have. All the things that have happened for me in my life, I won't say to me, because it didn't happen to me. I created it. And there are a lot of disappointments I used to. Anybody conjure up disappointments every now and then from their life? Yeah, right? 2 hands. I don't think of them as disappointments anymore. Every single one of them shows me something about myself that I stand here today as. You know, there was all this time when I was so envious of Tom Cruise. Anybody else? And you really, Sue? Yeah. No, I was envious of Tom Cruise because he said what he was. He said what he was going to be. I mean, for those of you that don't know, he was my roommate when he was 18. And I was starring in a Broadway show, and he wasn't. He was just this pimple-faced little kid from New Jersey who lived with me. And he would say, I'm going to be a movie star. And I'd be like, you're a little short, but yeah. And then catapult. Why? He was clear, very clear. And there were years that I'd be like, I can't believe this is happening. And where's my star? When am I rising? I couldn't have handled it. The universe knew I couldn't handle it. I even knew in my heart I couldn't handle it. I'd be crazy. I'd probably be dead by now. And I realized that. So, on a day like this, when I look back and I look at it all and I think, so where are you going now? Where are you going now? And you know what? The answer I have to that is, I am going nowhere with enthusiasm. And that's what I think we should all be saying. I don't need to know. I don't need to decide. I don't need to plan. I just need to know who I am, that I am enthusiasm personified, and the universe, take me along, show me whatever you want to show me. I'm here, I'm ready, and I have another 68 years to go. Namaste.